Broadcasting from the Thrive Time Show studios and the box that rocks, it is Tulsa's #1 CPA in every way. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a look under your financial hood with Paul Hood.
I want money, lots and lots of money. I want the pie in the sky. I want money, lots and lots of money. So don't be asking me why. I want to be rich.
Show me the money!
All right, Hood Nation, welcome back to a look under the hood with Paul Hood, Tulsa's #1 CPA and every way. He's in Claremore. He's in Bartlesville. He's in Tulsa. His name is Paul Hood. And today we're talking about the importance of knowing your weekly profit. As an entrepreneur, as the former U.S. SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, I've been asked to coach a lot of businesses. And this is an idea that I really want to dive deep into, and then I want to have Paul kind of unpack it for us, is why in the world would you want to start a company? Think about that. Why would you want to start a business? What is psychologically wrong with you that would make you want to start a business? I have 3 categories. There's 3 categories of why someone would want to start a business. And Chuck, please put this on the show notes because I see it all the time. One is you cannot hold a job. You're the kind of person that you can't get a job, you can't find a job, you get fired from jobs, so you need to start a business. Okay, fine, I get it. The second type is you are somebody who's ambitious. You say, I want to earn more than the average person. I want to earn more than just my wages. I want to build a system. I want to build a team. I have an aim and a mission. I want to do that. The third is you're delusional. You are delusional. You absolutely have no concept. Like you might say, hey, I would say to you, hey, what's your favorite, what entrepreneur would you want to meet? If I might talk to you for lunch and I would say, hey, could you tell me if you could meet anybody in the world, who would you want to meet? And you would say, because you're delusional, oh, Yoda. And I would say, Yoda's a fictitious character and Dagobah is not actually a real place. And you'd go, no, I see him all the time in the movies. And I'm go, okay, fine. You're the kind of person who would say, hey, what's your marketing strategy? And you would say, well, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy products wholesale and then use ClickFunnels to sell them retail on Amazon using an automated sales system. You're the kind of person who would say, what are your goals for your weekly profit? What are your goals? And you'd say, I don't know. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for ministry. You would be delusional. You, my friend, would be the kind of person that gives yourself paper cuts on your face just so you have something to talk about. You just
wait. That's not good.
No, you're the kind of person. You're the kind of person that hits yourself in the leg with a hammer just to make sure you're alive. You're the kind of person that pays a dumb tax every moment of every day. So I want to first tackle the delusional people. Paul.
Yes.
If somebody's out there and they have a business model that is impossible to produce a profit, and they just refuse to accept the idea that it's not possible to make a profit, how often do you see that situation as a CPA where you meet somebody and you're like, dude, why are you investing in that company? And he might say, well, it's my sister. I'm funding her business. And you're like, dude, she's never going to turn a profit. She's selling freaking cupcakes. This happened a few years ago. Lady's selling freaking cupcakes, making less than 10 cents profit per cupcake. I did the math, no exaggeration. And I said, if you make 10 cents per cupcake, right? 10 cents per cupcake, if that's what you make, how many do you need to sell to make $100,000 a year? And she's like, well, I don't know. To me, it's not about the money. It's more about the vision. And I'm like, okay. Well, let's just say that you did sell 1,000. You'd make $100. Look at that, Marshall. I put that on the big screen there.
Yep, math checks out.
That's not what you want there.
No, and I said, so if you sold 100,000 cupcakes a week, you could make $10,000 a week, which is your goal, because you said your goal is to make $500,000 a year. And she's like, yeah, I feel like I can do it. I'm like, no, you don't have the capacity to even make 1,000. You don't have enough ovens. You don't have enough space. You'd have to. No. So help me. Help the listeners there. Help somebody out there who's delusional. What does that look like, Paul?
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, they haven't, the strange thing is they don't know they're delusional. And they get very defensive when you actually run the numbers because, the numbers tell the story. And, so you have to kind of, become a psychiatrist / CPA / financial advisor / business coach and say, you know what, this probably isn't going to work the way you're doing it, but this is what we can do, or that's what we can do.
9 out of 10 businesses fail, according to Forbes,
do.
Paul. So I'm just telling you, if there's 3 entrepreneurs out there, I'm telling you, if you're in a room right now, think about this. Let's say we went to church this week.
Okay.
Paul, let's say we went to a church of 1,000 people. Does that sound fair? 1,000 people?
Okay. That's
Okay,
good.
so let's do some math here. And I would say, because I'm a weird, crazy pastor, and somehow you screwed up and went to the wrong church. So I get up and say, ladies and gentlemen, what I want to do is I want to demonstrate today the opportunity for success. So I want everyone to stand up. And everyone's like, okay, great. Now here's the deal. I want 900 of you to sit down. Everybody over in this section, that section, this section, but over here, you guys keep standing. Everyone sits down. I'm like, now these are the only people that are going to succeed. Now, according to Forbes, of these 100 that are still standing over here, I want half of you to sit down. Okay. Now, these are the only ones that'll be profitable. Yay! Success. So, I mean, why is it, though, that people are so delusional with their finances? What's going on?
Well, Clay, the reality is, and the exciting thing for me, and I think the exciting thing for you is actually out of those 1,000 people that would potentially start a business, a large portion of them can be successful.
Right, they can be.
They just don't know what to do. And that's why, I feel like my mission, and I'm so excited to work with you and get people to your 2-day seminars, is all they got to do is have a system is okay, do this, and this, and this to be successful.
Yes.
But so many people, all they want to do is they want to get in this cloud of dreams and don't want to do the work.
And speaking of that cloud of dreams, what I see a lot of times with people that might be considered in this delusional category is it's a lot of times tied to some sort of emotion. Like you said earlier, it's my sister's business, or I had this great idea for 20 years and I'm finally trying to do it.
had a dream to do watercolor Yodo pictures.
Yeah, like that, yes. Or, trying to make 100,000 cookies a week out of one kitchen. So if you're out there, and the thing is, you got to be coachable. If you're going to hire somebody that's an expert, you got to listen to what they're saying. So try and remove the emotion from the situation whenever you're figuring out your finances.
Now, the next entrepreneur out there, this is somebody who's you aren't employable. You literally cannot hold a job somewhere else. Let's just say you are a talented cabinet man. You are good at cabinets. You are really, really good at wood floors. You are so good at plumbing. And so, Marshall, you decide, because you're good at plumbing or wood floors or cabinets and you can't hold a job, you decide to go out there and start your own business because you can't handle being managed by a boss. You hate those checklists. You hate those scripts. You hate those freaking systems. You just want to start your own business. You want to get your own truck. And so you go out there and you get your own truck. You get your own cabinet making stuff.
Tools.
And then, Marshall, what tends to happen here? Where do these people typically go awry as relates to making a profit?
Well, what happens is because they love doing that job, they love making cabinets, they love finishing the floors, that's what they believe running a business, not being self-employed, but running a business is the entire time. And so there's a fine line between running a business and being self-employed. Self-employed means that you have your own job.
You've created a job.
You've created a job, and maybe that's the right fit for you. But if you want to grow a business, you have to understand that doing the floors, doing the cabinets, that's the one thing that you're going to have to give up in order to manage people to go do that for you.
Ooh, you can't bring an employee mentality to business ownership.
You can't bring an employee mentality to business ownership. And the reason why is because the business has to become a vehicle to serve you. It has to get you from point A to point B. And so you got to be able to look at those numbers because you got to know what the throttle is. You got to know what the RPMs are. You got to know what the metrics are, the expenses, the sales every single week. And if you're going to manage people in that paradigm, in those parameters, you got to know the numbers.
Now, Paul, this is something I want to ask you here. Is it if somebody out there says, okay, I realize I might be a little delusional. They realize, you know what? I am the cabinet king. That's what I've been doing. I'm the floor guy. I need to become a business owner. I need to move beyond just being a technician. I need to be an owner. This would be that third category. This is the ambitious person. Now, if you're an ambitious person, I want to make sure that you get this idea. John D. Rockefeller said, I would rather earn 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. So this would be, I'm going to use myself as an example for elephant in the room. A lot of people would say, you only pay yourself $2 per haircut? What? how do you make any money? And I say, oh, but here's the deal. There are thousands upon thousands of haircuts, and none of which that I do. So I make very little as a percentage, and I pay my people far more than anybody else. But Paul, talk to listeners out there. Why is that? If you want to scale and make a lot of money, why do you eventually have to get down there in the nitty gritty and look at the numbers and be willing to pay yourself a little bit per client as opposed to all of it per client? Because I think a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck there. They say, well, Paul, if I did all the accounting work myself, I could keep all the money.
Yeah, Clay, what happens is people tend to concentrate on how they can make that quick dollar instead of, I always tell my clients you can get short-term gain does not turn, it usually turns into long-term pain. Short-term pain turns into long-term gain. So you say Warren Buffett, and I agree with him. He says that we won the ovarian lottery just being born in this country. But this country is built on free enterprise, and the problem is, Clay, is we teach people to be good technicians, to be a good plumber, to be a good cabinet maker, to be a good accountant, and they know nothing about creating actually wealth or creating time freedom, creating duplicatable systems to where they can sit back and they can get in their supercar and drive across the country, and their business still run without them, because people tend to create, like you say, a job. Even in the franchise world, if you've got a franchise, you've just got a decent paying job. You're working yourself to death. And what we try to teach people at Hood CPAs is how do we buy back that time? How do we duplicate you so that you can make the money and not have to show up?
Now, when we come back, we're going to talk more about this, but this is I want to deal with this. In business, there is a friction, and I want to put this on the show notes, Chuck. There's a friction that will never stop. And if you read Andrew Carnegie's book called The Gospel of Wealth, that book right there is a very, very small book, but he talks about this because he basically was the world's wealthiest man, and he decides to stop working. But he wrote this book called The Gospel of Wealth, and that book, honestly, it's probably 30 pages. I think it's maybe 30 pages. And in that book, he explains this ongoing problem that he was willing to deal with for years. And the reason why he's leaving business and retired at the young age, he retired like late 40s. He did it because he wanted to, it was early 50s actually. He retired because he was no longer willing to fight the fight. But if you have a business, here's the fight that's always going to happen. You have the 3 Ps, okay? The people who work for you, they always feel like they need to be paid more. Always. And entitlement never stops. They want to get paid more and they feel entitled. And it will never stop. They always feel entitled and they always want to get paid more. Then the customer, okay, this is the profit here. The customer always feels like the prices are too high. The profit. So the customer feels like the profits are being attacked because the customer thinks that you're charging too much. The people who work for you think they're not being paid enough, right? And then the product is always being attacked by your competition. Beware of your friends, by the way, because your competition's always trying to steal your ideas, trying to screw you, trying to buddy up with you. Paul, have you ever had a CPA buddy up with you?
Oh, yeah. I had a CPA that worked for me that I decided I was going to buy a practice, and I said I was going to let him be a part of it. And about 90% through the negotiations to buy this accounting practice, I found out he was negotiating with the guy himself to buy it himself.
Oh,
yeah.
See. There it is.
It happens.
So I'm saying is when we come back, I want to talk about those 3 Ps. I want to get Marshall's take on. I want to get Eric Chupp's on this, and I want to get Paul's, because if you're not willing to fight the fight, literally, it's like a never-ending Chuck Norris versus like 85 Ninjas kind of fight, because you're constantly you come to work every day. In my companies, somebody asks to be paid more, and every single day, a customer wants to be charged less. Every day, that happens. And then every single day, you're trying to make a profit. And so you have this, in the competitions, trying to steal your ideas. It happens all the time. It happened actually yesterday. Yesterday, I was going out with a guy. I met a guy, and I am 100% sure this man was trying to steal my ideas. And so I did what I typically always do. I told him things that don't make sense, and I spoke in circles, and I ended the conversation quickly. But that's how. And when we come back, I want to talk about how you deal with that. Now, if you're looking to get your finances in a proactive situation, if you're wanting to finally become proactive with your finances after years of wandering around chasing your tail in circles, go to hoodcpas.com. Again, go to hoodcpas.com and schedule your 1-hour consultation with Paul Hood or a member of his team. And he's going to give you a free copy of Warren Buffett's only authorized biography called Snowball. Again, get the book, get the consultation, become proactive. Do it today by going to hoodcpas.com. That's hoodcpas.com. And now, broadcasting from the Thrive Time Show studios and the box that rocks, it is Tulsa's #1 CPA in every way. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a look under your financial hood with Paul Hood.
Money, lots and lots of money. I want the pie in the sky. I want money, lots and lots of money. So don't be asking me why. I want to be rich.
All right, Hood Nation, welcome back to A Look Under the Hood. My name is Clay Clark, and I am fired up to talk about this next subject because this is the problem with business owners. People that want to play business, but they don't want to get hit. Work with me. I was not good at football, but I'll tell you why. Football requires physical contact. And you're going to get hit. Paul, you played football at a high level in high school. Your son's played in high school. Your son played at college.
Yeah.
What position did you play?
I was a defensive back, corner.
Okay, so you were in a position where your job was to keep the receiver from catching the pass, correct?
Correct.
And then occasionally when that guy would go over the middle to try to catch a pass,
Light them up.
and you'd try to time it so you would hit him as soon as he touched the ball.
That's correct.
And even though you delivered a lot of energy and force towards him, when your body hit his body, did you not get sore?
Yeah, I got knocked out more than one time.
Right. And so for me, with football, I wasn't down with that idea. So I said, I don't think I should play the sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you play football and you don't want to get hit, it's not going to end well for you.
No, it doesn't go good.
If you're a business owner and you can't handle the friction of these 3 Ps, it's not going to go well for you. So I'm going to walk you through what happened to me at Nordaggio's on Friday. I'll call this my Nordaggio's, my deep dive into Nordaggio's. I go into Nordaggio's. I go there to meet a man about a business deal. The man I met's a great man. We talked about great things. It was fine. As soon as I sit down, a person walks in and goes, "Oh my gosh, Clay, you did our daughter's wedding with DJConnection.com, man. You did their wedding. You did their wedding. Yes. So he's like all pumped up. He gives me his card. He says, "I appreciate you so much. You're the man. You're the man." He says, this is what he says, and Steve Currington would enjoy this. He says, someone a mutual acquaintance told me to tell you hi. And so this person, and I said, "Well, what did he say?" And he said, "Oh, this person said that you guys scammed him." Now, this is a former client of mine praising me for the work I've done, but also delivering bad news that I've scammed him. So I said, how did I scam him? He goes, "He said you guys charged him like $2,500 a month for marketing, and he didn't get anything out of it." And then I said, did he tell you he never showed up to meetings? And he says, no. He says, "But here's the deal. I hired him to do some landscaping for me, and he never showed up." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So, but again,
sense.
but work with me. So right there, I dealt with a happy customer. So right there, I dealt with the product of a happy customer. I'm going, yes, but this is just one trip to Nordaggio's, a blasty blast. Then I literally get attacked at the same time. This is why I never go outside. This is why I never go out in the town. I'm serious. This is why I hate going out in Tulsa. I cannot stand it. Then a person who's sitting there at the front desk. This is a person who worked with us. She worked with us, and she was also a prostitute on Craigslist at night. And so this person ended up being terminated, but she actually was a prostitute. And so she's there, and she's like, "Hey, what's going on? Oh, my God." And she just starts going off at me about, "I can't believe you fired me. I've had to find..." But I can't like have a person working for me who literally is posting their body for sale on Craigslist at night and oversleeping at their work during the day.
Marshall, do you hear that?
No, this is
I gotta stop
real.
that.
This is just my trip to Nordaggio's. So again, I see a former customer who's happy. I get a complaint. I see an employee who I had to fire for chronically oversleeping as a result of her lady of the night activities. Then I turn and I order a coffee. And the guy who I get a coffee from, he goes, "Are you Clay?" Because he sees a boom hat. And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I love your podcast." And I said, "I love you."
Made it all worth it.
So we're talking. We're having a good conversation, and we're talking about coffee and music and the Americano and what it's like. The owner of the business comes in. I know the guy, and so. But all I'm saying is, I am constantly. If you own a business, you're constantly dealing with customers who think you're charging too much, who have the ability to say whatever they want. They can complain or praise. You're dealing with people. The people of which think they're not being paid enough and have the ability to be thankful that you're their boss or not happy. And then you have that pursuit of profit. And it's all three. And if you cannot handle the constant contact and the friction of that, you shouldn't really be in a business. So, Paul, I'm going to start with this first one. People. Why? Is it just me? Is it just the clients I've worked with? Or have you noticed that people always want to be paid more?
Yeah, they always want to be paid more, and you know, I agree. I love that. That can be, Clay, I look at most things as a lot of people see negative, I see positive. I think that's a great thing, but if they want to be paid more, I want them to work for me, but they're going to be on an incentive-based pay system.
There we go.
So if they want to be paid more, genuinely want to be paid more, then they're going to have to be willing to do more or do better, and that's great. But a lot of times they want that. They got that handout, that entitlement mentality, and say, well, you know, I saw you just went and you drove your car and you went here. I think I need a raise. You know, it's like they're part of the business, and they are a part of the business, but you know what? They weren't there when I was sleeping in my car and working 7 days a week, and just if I could get just an extra 10 minutes of sleep.
So you're just trying to. I dealt with a business owner. This would be 2 weeks ago. Dealt with this guy, nice guy, and he said that his office staff lady was going, "Well, look at the car you drive. Look at the car I drive."
Yeah,
and use that as justification for wanting to get a raise.
Right.
And she's probably been on his team 3 years.
Right.
And he's been sacrificing for a decade. So you don't feel bad that you make significantly more than the employees?
No, because what I tell my employees is, you know what, if you want to have what I have, then do what I do, and I'll show you how to do it, and I'll teach you how to do it. Just you got to turn off that TV, put up that phone, and come and show up, and you run side by side with me, because I genuinely believe, Clay, that I can show anybody how to be a millionaire. It's just 99% of the people won't show up and do the work. You know, they make excuses. And so, no, I love that mentality if it's a true mentality that they're willing to do the work. The problem is the majority of them just say, okay, you got something, so I think I need a little piece of it just for showing up.
Now, what the great thing about capitalism for consumers is that the competition has to compete for your dollars. And you as a customer get to vote with your dollars. But, Chup, if you own a business, that means your competition's always trying to knock you out.
That's right.
You can't ever, you have to be paranoid all the time.
You have to be paranoid all the time. And these, like Paul was saying, I forgot what I was going to say, so I'm going to go back to you.
Well, Andy Grove says only the paranoid survive. I want to put that on the show notes. Andy Grove, that's the CEO of Intel. He says only the paranoid survive. You literally have to be paranoid at all times. That's why in our Thrive coaching program, I do not like shady people in my building because I know that shady people bring shady people, and I know how it works. And but Marshall, talk to me about that. Why if you've seen this happen? Why do you as a business owner have to be paranoid?
You have to be paranoid because you got to punt the people that are not a good cultural fit. This is with your employees. This is with your clients. This is with anybody that doesn't belong within your business, because what it's going to do is it's going to create a culture, and it's going to make it campy, and you can't have campy within your business. So you got to continuously be moving things around. You look at a pond, and the water in the pond, you see that scum, that
kind of Yoda-like,
the Yoda-like. But the cleanest part of the river is the fastest moving water. You got to keep it moving quickly with your employees.
And one thing that you said that's powerful right there, Marshall, was the idea of punting clients or not taking on business if you know it's not going to be worth it. I see a lot of people that have a scarcity mindset, and it turns into greed. They just want to take every single deal that they can, and that's not good.
This is one thing, an elephant in the room, I do a lot. If you have a Confederate flag on your license plate, and you pull in, I won't do business with you. I won't. So I'm just trying to tell you that I won't do that because it doesn't make any sense. The war's over. Move on. But there's that personality type will come in and they will just say, hey, brother, I'm trying to get my hair cut for $1. And you're going, well, okay, that's great. When was the last time you came in? Last week. It says on your sign, $1 for the first customer and your first time. And you're like, well, it's for your first time. This is not your first time. What you going to do about it? And they're just trying to intimidate. I'm not kidding. This happens at least once a week. And it's just people want to come in for the $1 haircut. It's for the first-time customers. And Jinx, we have a phenomenon here. We have moms that will drop off their kids and give them a fake name and cash. Like a lot of moms. Like a lot. Like probably 30 of them a month that will come in. Their parents will pull up in an Escalade. They'll drop the kids off. And we just cut their hair 2 weeks ago. We know his name's like Danny.
Yeah.
And he'll say, my name's Will. And you're like, you're in the system as Danny. No, it's Will. And they'll do it for a $1 haircut. So all I'm trying to say is you're never going to be done with clients trying to scam you. You're never going to be done with employees trying to screw you. You're never going to be done with the competition trying to attack you. And it becomes a competition of, can you put up with it? And if you can embrace it and just not get emotional about it and you can just stay the course, you will dominate. But Marshall, what if you hold out hope that eventually you'll get great people? Eventually, you're going to have a great business, and eventually, you'll move to a time where there's no friction.
Eventually, once I have money, I'll start managing it correctly. This is an idea that never works out. You got to start managing your money effectively now in order to have some of it later. You got to start doing the good habits now in order to provide for the long-term success in the future.
That is so profound. If you're out there and you're saying, you know what, I need somebody who's on my team. I need somebody who can help me look at my finances objectively and that can push me. Paul, how can you help them? And what does that first consultation look like if they schedule a consultation with hoodcpas.com?
Well, the first thing we've got to do is remember, Clay, we start with the end in mind. I get to know them. What do they want to accomplish? What is their personality? You know, some people's success is having that, like you say, the living in their van underneath the bridge in Jinx. Some people's idea of success.
Head of math. I love that.
That's a great place to live. Some people's idea of success is being, having time freedom. Some of them quantify it with money. So the first thing is we have to quantify where you want to go. Then we figure out where you're at and design a plan and start talking about how to get there.
And it's an hour free consultation and a free copy of Warren Buffett's only authorized book, a hardcover physical copy of Warren Buffett's only authorized biography, the book called Snowball. It's a powerful book. It's going to be a powerful meeting, but he can't help you. Paul can't help you for the hour of power if he doesn't get to know you. Book your one-on-one consultation today at hoodcpas.com. Again, that's hoodcpas.com. Someone else might be saying, what was that again? Hoodcpas.com. Book an appointment today.